Welcome everybody. Tonight, I have kind of like a small bonus session going for the NLP class, and we're kind of doing, let's say, open work on assignments, and mostly we're looking at stuff that's already either past due or coming up due for the midterm grading period. And I have a request here to work on the assignment here in Unit 5, which is the goal of it is basically to calculate a TF-IDF table for the following sentences. So they give us, 4 sentences here that we should work with. And we should make this either as a Word doc, an Excel spreadsheet, or enter it into a PowerPoint, whatever. But the point is to communicate the information. But when you think about it, probably the most logical tool to use here is a spreadsheet for a lot of different reasons, right? Not the least of which is the fact that we can actually do the calculations in the spreadsheet rather than using a calculator. And that's kind of the point. So I'm going to bring up a blank spreadsheet here. I'm going to do a save as on this and then try to put it where I think it should go. So just bear with me here while I navigate to that spot. And I'm not sure if I should just put this, I might put it right into the materials here. So this will go in Unit 5. And I'll just drop it here in the root and I'll call it TF-IDF table homework. That's what I'm going to call it. All right. Now, the other thing that you might want to pull out, and I did this preemptively, is I grabbed the PowerPoint for this unit because they go through the steps for doing this, right? And so we should be able to get through most of it. It's when we get to doing the logarithms that are probably the hard part and really even understanding what those are. All right, so we go through these steps. Count the number of documents where the word appears at least once. Write down that number next to the word. Repeat each word in your vocabulary list. So like tally them all up. Get your inverse document frequency, which you do with the logarithms. Multiply each row by the inverse and go through that process. So let's just kind of go through that one by one. All right, so we're counting all the words. Write that number down next to the word in your vocabulary. And so let's do that. Let's take all the words in those sentences and put them into the spreadsheet, right? That's one approach. The other approach is let's look here, and I'm just going to be really silly about this. And I'm just going to do a screenshot with my snipping tool. And I have those sentences. And you see how I'm trying to be strategic in how I grab them, right? And this gives me a little bit of flexibility here now because I have it as an image, and I can kind of write on it, with my screenwriting tool, and I can copy it into Excel, and it can sit right there as well, right? But we could just very simply, and I'm going to pull up Excel like this, and this is kind of primitive, mind you, right? But this is kind of how my brain works sometimes, right? So maybe seeing how my brain works might inspire you to get your brain to work in a different way. I don't know. Right. So let's just take all the words that are in here. And I'm just going to start listing them across the top of the screen here. And I'm going to maybe zoom in on Excel just a little bit. And I've got this novel is from a long time ago, right? And then now we're getting a different word is the, and now novel is appearing again, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm struggling a little bit with kind of like putting this together because when you look at the example, it's not kind of necessarily in sentence order, right? And they're using different sentences, right?
Yeah, that's what was kind of throwing me off.
Okay. So you see like kind of the point here. Okay, so novel is already in there as a word. So where's my screenshot? There it is. All right. So, but the is new. Um, is already there. Then we have Victorian. And then you is new. Should read more. Novels, same word, right? Um, or is it? I mean, I don't know how to deal with plurality. Um, I don't know.
So,
Yeah, I think that I leave that alone. Is what is my thought on it, right? Novel and novel is basically the same word. That's how I'm seeing it. Okay, let's keep going though. So I have more, and then two. Do we have the word two in there? There's two. Read, we have novels, we have is, we have two, we have improve. Your, do we have the word your? No. Is that the same as you? I don't know. And then vocabulary. Okay, so there's all our words. And then I'm just going to do this. I'm going to highlight all those and double click just to put them in maybe a little bit more concise fashion. So there's all the words. And then the next task would be to do a count of all of them. All right. So how many times does this appear? Once. Novel, we got one, two, three, four. Is three times. Tell me if I'm wrong here. From
so good.
one, one, long, one, time, one, ago, one, the, I got one, just one, Victorian, you should, two for read, one for more, two, twice, improve, once, and once. So that's my approach. Then the other thing that I would do here, right, is I would just take all these, I would center them, maybe zoom in on it a little bit, a little easier to read. Okay. So there's kind of the first step, right? So we've basically done this. Right. For each number in your document frequency, take its inverse. This means dividing the total number of documents by the document frequency. Okay. Total number of documents is what for us? We have 4 sentences.
Mm.
So here they've got 3. We've got 4. And that gives you your inverse document frequency. So now I can do this visually. So for example, I could just type in here 4 divide by 1. Right? And notice what it does. Right. And we want to actually format this as text. So let's type that in again. So then it shows the formula, right? So this would be 4 divided by 4, right? And really this format here should apply all the way across. Now, 4, 4, 4, 3, right? And once again, you see the pattern here. And then for anything that's got a pattern of, that's a little too much. Wait, let's center all those. So anything that's got a 1, I can just paste that in. Not sure why it stopped. Okay. Now that just gives you that ratio. But really they do want us to do the division on it.
Mm.
Right. And so if you're doing that, you would actually type in a formula like that. You put an equal sign in front of it. And so once again, for all the ones that have a 1 in it, I can paste that formula in.
Mm. Wow, there's a lot faster than what I was doing. Oh my goodness. I'm still learning all this. Wow.
Now, here's the thing with it, right? I'm not even as fast as some Excel people are. Like people who are really experts at this. I mean, they're like wow, you know. And then of course here I would say equals 4 divided by 4, which is 1. Oops. And then this one would be equals 4 divided by 3.
How did you select to center all of them at once?
I just highlighted them and then I hit the center button.
Oh, okay.
That's if you see the toolbar.
Yep.
And I don't know why this one lists as an inconsistent formula. Formula in this all differs. How does it differ? Equals 4/2. Yeah, whatever. It just is what it is. Equals 4/2. Right. So it calculates those values. And then if you want to show the decimal numbers, you can do something like that. I don't know if that's really necessary. And I don't know if they're even doing that in the example. Right. All right. Finally, multiply each row in your bag of words elements by the log of the inverse document frequency. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of hairy, basically. So we have to look at the original sentences. And I don't know if do they provide the original sentences?
I don't think so. It was just like chopped up Andy and Ann or whatever.
I'm looking for their example, and I could swear the example was in here. And multiply each row. Oh, so here it is, right? Andy and Ann are stressed. Andy went to a therapist. Ann went to download a health chatbot. And so those are their 3 sentences.
Oh,
Okay. So here, let's do this. So this is kind of another strategy here. Is I'll just highlight those just so we can look at them. Right. And then maybe we can backwards. Okay, so Andy equals what? Andy equals 2, right? And so they go through Andy and, so they get all the words and they just count them. And that's what we just did, right? Then they go through all of them and get the IDF number. Then, all right, so then they break down the sentences. Okay, so this is where it gets a little weird because now they're going to do a logarithm based upon what's in the sentence and what's not. So for example, the first sentence, Andy and Ann are stressed. 1, 1, 1, 1. All the others are zeros. See that? The
Um,
first character of the formula is a 1 because all 5 of those words are in the first sentence. In the second sentence, Andy went to a therapist. Andy's got a 1, went to a therapist. All the rest have zeros. Right.
okay.
And so like what, and this is really like goofy spreadsheet stuff once again. So if I go full screen on this and I'm going to come out on the Zoom just a little bit, I can insert a column to the left here where I can put the original sentence. So I can grab like what are the original sentences. Now I have to go back, and here's the nice thing, I can actually just copy them from here, right? And so I'm gonna put them here. And all this manual work really explains why you allow computers to do the work for you. You write computer code for it, right? So this is just a kind of our reference point. So then what we do is we're using this as a reference just to know what is in each sentence, and then we're going to build out the logarithms. Now the logarithms, let's examine how those are put together. We basically have a formula that says 1 times the log of the number that we calculated. So this is why this becomes handy, right? Typing it out manually like this. So I'm going to do one formula. So equals 1 because it's there,
Mhm.
right? Times the log, and notice that's a built-in formula of this. And it gives me a value. And because this word, the first, this novel is from a long time ago, all the way up to here, I can just drag across and my formulas are done.
Oh
And
my God.
why does that work? Right? Because when I grab this ratio from here and put it into the formula, right? It used this cell here. So I didn't have to type the 4-1. I could type the 4-1 and still get the same number, but I had already done that, so no reason to do it again. So then I move it over and it grabs this one. I move it over and it grabs that one, etc. Right? And I can verify that by clicking on the formula bar and it highlights it. So that did all of those. And then all of these here would be equals 0 times the log of whatever's up here. And you know, technically it's not even going to use it because it's a 0.
Mm.
Um, and none of those will be used. So those all come up 0. Right. And I know when other people were doing this, they didn't think about doing it in Excel like this. But you know, this is why Excel exists, is to make work easy, not
It seems
hard.
like it would be harder if you tried to do a Word document because I would get a pen and a piece of paper. I don't know. This is a lot quicker. I guess when you know how to work it and how to use all the features.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that one's not. I don't know what was going on there, but I fixed it. I don't know that we need this many decimal places either, but we can deal with that later. So the next thing that you do is if these formulas are right, and I wasn't smart about this, I can use the F4 trick on this, which is do an absolute reference to that cell, right? Um, and once again, I don't know why it's That's weird too. All right, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to control Z it because I had the right number there. Then for the next sentence, I just identify the words, like which are the words that are in there. The novel is Victorian. The novel and Victorian. So these would be equals 1 times the log of this. I can copy that formula here. And here. And where's the word is? And here. Right. All the rest of them would be 0 times the log of that. Right. And then I can copy this formula to all of these other cells. Because none of those words appear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we get to, you should read more novels. So I'm just going to start with the first word, and I'm going to say equals 1 times the log of that cell. And then that should, read more novels. And then all the rest of them are going to be equals 0 times log of that. I mean, just to do the formula. And really, we know it's going to be 0. But I'm not sure how I'm evoking that panel there. Oops. I hit some key and I jumped across the screen. Sorry. All right. And then to read. So where's 2? 2's over here. So let's just start there. Equals 1 times the log of this. And so that one's in there too. Read novel is, oh, interesting. So this one actually appears one more time. So it's really, so this is a 3, which makes this a 3. And if that changes my number a little bit, I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I'm doing this right, because maybe I'm focusing on the wrong cells here. I'm really curious. I'm going to change this formula to here. I don't know why it's doing that. I have to restructure it. I'm just wondering if it's calculating correctly. Because this is the calculation of the cell above, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, why is it doing that? That is so weird. Equals 1 times the log of a number. Interesting. So if I hard code it, you see how it's not calculating now. I'm just going to type one independent here. I just want to make sure that it's okay. So that's a different number. Okay. So that's not working correctly. So these calculations aren't right. All right. Here's what we can do. All the zeros are still going to be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm going to strike this, and I'm realizing it's not calculating correctly because this is coming in here as text, which is not what I want. Right. So let me just delete this. And if I say /1, still coming in as text. Okay. So I'm just wondering if I do have to hard code everything equals /1. Okay, so the whole row is just locked in as text, and this is a number. That's general. This is a number. Okay. And I'm just want to see if these calculations work out differently, basically. So I'm fuddling a little bit with Excel here to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So to save. And see, it doesn't want to work because I'm not giving it the full expression. So I'm wondering if I have to go through and do this. This kind of seems kind of lame. But see, this also, these are all also text.
See, it keeps switching back to text.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why.
I remember in the beginning when you first did the /1, it kept saying like April 1st or whatever. But I
Yeah,
thought if you went up there and changed it to numbers, then it should just stay to whatever you changed it to. Don't keep going to the default of text.
all right. So now it seems to be working.
Hmm.
And I think I changed the format. So these are all in the first sentence. Oh, oh, that one, right. That one works. All right. I think there's basically no easy way to do this. So I guess I'll use this as a reference of text. But really, all we have to do is just formulate the formulas correctly, right? And instead of doing a cell reference, I think I am going to end up hard coding these.
Okay.
I was trying to be like do clever Excel tricks, and I guess I'm just missing the boat here. Because this stuff should be text for reference. And it would be /1, /4, /3, /1. That's just reference. This is actually the calculation it makes, right? And I don't know if I could use that in the formula. I guess I could try that. And I thought I did try that. So I could use here this cell, and now it gives me a 0, which is not correct. Okay. So we can't use a cell reference. We actually have to put the values in. So that kind of sucks, basically, to say it politely. So any of the ones that appear that appear once, like this and this and this and this and this, all work. And then this one, would say 1 times the log of and see now I'm being really careful about this because I think I'm messing it up. 4, which gives us a 0. All right, I'm looking at the example again. Andy and Ann are stressed. So why is and? Because it only appears once. Okay, so those calculations remain consistent. It's just a matter of whether it has a 0 or a 1.
Mm.
That's the difference. So then this one would be equals 1 times the log of 4/3. And it's not really 4/3. And I think maybe that's where I'm making the mistake here. Should it be 4,3?
Mm.
Okay. No, I don't think so. And so now I'm reading about the formula. A
Mm.
logarithm of 8 with a base of 2. So I'm trying to figure out how are they deriving this number. If I put in this number here, and they're doing 3/2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so they are doing division in there. So that's not a mistake. So that's correct. That's correct. This isn't correct. Correct, 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 correct. Okay. And then these, which are equals 0 times the log 4/1. Those will all be that. Paste that, paste it here, and then just adjust the formula because that's going to be 4/2, but the 0 makes it drop out. Okay, so these numbers I believe are correct.
Okay.
Okay, so then we move on. And here we'd say 0. And okay, well, here's the thing, right? So if we know the word doesn't appear,
Mm-hmm.
the novel is Victorian. I mean, functionally, we can just type in a 0 and save our typing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This appears and go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, that one will have a formula. I'm really fumbling with my keyboard here. And you can see I missed a bunch here. So 0.
Yeah.
And really, I can just, yeah, okay. So we have to calculate these words. So here, we would say equals 1 times the log of 4/4. And 1 times the log of 4/3.
Mm.
4/1. Like so. So the, okay, so this one is there. Novel is, and of course this one drops out because why? Because this results in 1, and then the multiplication makes the logarithm drop out. So, okay. And then we get to, all right, 0. Okay, no, novels is used here. So we would say equals 1 times the log of 4/4, which we know is going to become 0, but we still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 0. U. And really, I could be copying this formula, right? Because it's basically this formula.
Yeah.
Yep. And then read. I'll paste in the formula, but change this to a 2.
Uh,
That appears once, so I can paste in this formula, and the rest is zeros. To read novels is to improve your vocabulary, so we got a 0. This one would take this formula. That's that one we need. That appears 3 times, so we'll copy that formula. Is to so where is that? That has it twice. So why does it have a 3? Right? I don't see it 3
it's
times.
only two
Oh,
times, yeah.
so which one has a 4/2 calculation? This one. And then a 4/1 is this one. Okay, so there's the result.
Mhm.
And then if you want to make it look pretty, I guess you can do that. There you go. That's the answer.
Uh,
All right, so there's unit 5.
Okay.
And
That
if it,
saved me a lot of time, even though you
well,
had to go back and do things the way I was doing it. Oh my God, Ty, it was like one, like just I was doing too much, just making it more difficult than it have to be.
well, yeah, you noticed I fumbled a little bit with it too because I was using Excel to do the calculations. But the truth is, like once you've established the calculations, they're just a copy paste, and the zeros don't matter because we know the stuff is going to fall out.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, okay,
um,
okay.
and in principle, you could do the calculations with the calculator if you know how, but
Mm,
Excel's really the right tool to use. And I don't know if that's too many decimal places or not, But like
Mhm.
all this stuff that has data in it, I don't know what the appropriate level of decimal places is. That looks pretty good right there. I'd go with that, something like that. So that's my answer.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and save this.
Mhm.
All right. So now we
That
have
was very helpful.
yeah, it was
Very
very,
helpful.
yeah, it was a recording that we'll share just privately with the class. I'm going to